Sparkle Jets. This is our podcast. It's called Best of Friends. Here we go now, yeah!
All right, welcome to our little podcast. I'm Mike from Sparkle Jets UK, and here with me is my band members, Susan West.
Hi.
And Jamie Knight.
Hello, hello.
And we are hanging out here today talking about our latest project that we're working on. It's called Best of Friends. It's a 2 LP, 1 CD monstrosity coming out this June 30th, 2023 on Big Stir Records. And it's a idea long in the making that it's basically us doing a bunch of songs by other musicians and artists that we met back 20 some years ago when we were involved in the little LA power pop scene. And we picked out a lot of our favorite songs back then and thought about recording them. Never really got around to it, and now we have. And one of the people that we included in that melange is here visiting with us today. And I have a lot of remembrances I can go through, so it's going to be a fun time. And this is everybody. Please welcome Don Mogill of the Dons.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing?
We're doing.
Yeah.
So I'll just start by saying I remember being at a party at Kathy Gale's apartment. It's the one where I infamously threw some of her lawn furniture into the pool, because we were like, well, we're rock and roll people. That's what we're supposed to do, right? And it was totally just one of those totally boring, like little white plastic chairs that you can get anywhere that cost like $4, and it couldn't possibly hurt anything. And I was just kind of goofing around and joking. And it turned out later, I guess she got in all kinds of trouble because I did that.
Yeah, the police came.
Oh, yeah, the police came. It was a whole big thing. Oh, it was awful. Well, I remember that about the party, and also that I met Joel Martin at that same party, and he had given me a tape of Guided by Voices. So that was the first time I heard them. But another tape I got that day was even more important to me in my life. And I'd met Don, this guy that we're talking to, at that party, and he gave me one of his demo tapes of the Dons. And I remember taking that home or having it in my car, and I played it. I was like, oh, shit, this is good. And I think I might have got your phone number somehow. And I remember I called you. I used to call you all the time. I used to call everybody. Remember back then when we all just had cell phones and there was no social media yet? And every time I
didn't even have a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone for a really long time.
Until 2014. Yeah, I remember.
So, yeah, that was a luxury to have a cell phone. But so you remember, it's so hard for me to remember when I met people. It was just like I've always known Mike and Susan. I've always known you guys forever. Robbie, when did I meet Robbie Rist? I can't tell you exactly the date or the party. So early on I can. I remember when by the way, so was that a cassette tape that I gave you?
Yeah, yes.
Was it like the 3-song?
No, it was a cassette tape. It had, I think it was just 3 tunes, and had the same picture with all of you guys floating in the bubbles. It was like black and white.
Right. So I recorded that on my little Tascam 4-track that I had. And we just did that in my living room, and
through my stuff, and I found the tapes of it. And maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds to me, unless I got a different tape than the one you're thinking of, those are still the same versions that after many, many years and iterations, those same versions are on the eventual Not Lame release. They don't sound any different to me. I mean, I went through last night. I had because I remember I'd at the time you didn't have a CD burner or anything. I had a CD burner, and I remember sometimes you'd come over and I would make you a CDR of those songs, because I remember digitizing the tape, I think, because I have that version.
Right. Yeah, I remember you did that. That was actually really helpful.
Yeah, and then I
actually had better versions of my demos than I did.
Well, and we kept doing it over and over. So in my computer, I've got 6 or 7 different versions of the Dons, and a lot of the songs are the same, and sometimes they change in quality. And then you get to one that was like the Ken West mastered whole full length album that had a different artwork that I'd done for you. And it sounds very different from even the one that Not Lame eventually put out. because Ken was pretty aggressive with his mastering compression.
Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to master it. So I said, go for it. Go ahead. And so we finally ended up at Steve Reffling's studio, the Lincoln Lounge on Lincoln Boulevard in Venice. And he was great. I'd never really been a lead singer, let alone a front person. That was all new. I just thought, well, all these other guys are doing it. Maybe I could do it too. I was just like a lead guitarist, sing a little bit of backups. Every once in a while, sing one or two songs in a set, like in a cover band or, when I first, my friend Brian Casson was in the Wonderments in the beginning. That's when I went to see him. Saw the Wonderments and went, wow, I had no idea people were playing this kind of music now. And, so late, middle, late 90s, and I thought I got to get in on this somehow. So I joined a band and I was playing lead guitar and singing some harmonies. And I brought a couple of my songs into the band and they just really couldn't do them. Just couldn't quite get the idea. So then I decided, well, I'll just have my own little side project and then I'll sing my songs, and then that turned into really the Dons. I got Doug was in the Wits End, which is the band I was playing lead guitar in. Doug was the drummer. And then I remember Jesse from a blues band I was in. So I got Jesse and Doug, and then we started the Dons. And then I had to do something I'd never really done, like write songs. Because, you get an idea for a song, and then, a few chords and stuff like that. That's not really a song, though. That's like an idea for a song. So I had to learn, like, okay, I guess you have to write verses and have a hook. I guess you need to have a part that's the chorus, that the memorable part of the song, and so forth. I was always just waiting to play lead guitar. It's like, but then I kind of learned on the job. And so when I got to the Lincoln Lounge with Steve and recorded the album, that was like the first time I did a lot of singing, and I kind of learned how to sing, like making that album, because when you create an album, and you're in the studio, you want to get everything perfect, so you do multiple takes, and that's when I kind of learned how to use my voice, how to get if I sing up high, how to get a better tone up there, and kind of find my style and all that stuff. So, it was just kind of a work in progress. When I made the cassettes, I just recorded things in my living room. We were rehearsing at a guy named Kim Shaheen's place, and he had a DAT recorder, but he didn't know what he was doing. And so we made some recordings on that, but they weren't quite good enough to put out an album with. So, that was kind of the idea as well. We'll go into Steve. Steve Reffling. He wasn't expensive. So, and then we just kind of went through basically our whole set. We had, by that time, by 2000, maybe we'd had 12, 15 songs, and that ended up being the album. But basically, going to see you guys play, like I just was like a beginner, and so I'd just go see what you guys were doing, what the Andersons were doing, and I was in other bands too. I was in. You
were in Tammy and the Lords of Risk.
3 or 4. I was always in 3 or 4 other bands at the same time.
Well, we may have met you
right
just previous to the party, because I know you were playing with Tammy and the Lords of Misrule, which was their new thing after doing Dream World, I guess.
Yeah.
Which we weren't there for the Dream World thing, so I don't exactly know how that worked. And I know you're still playing with those guys because we keep coming to see you guys do the Boat Misters shows every so often.
Yeah, I took a 20-year break, and actually they did too. I think they had kind of just Tammy and Roy had been playing just as a duet, some coffee like smaller places, and then John joined, and then I went to see them. It was the same thing, the same story all over again. I go to see a band, I like them, become a fan, and then I end up joining the band, or joining another band, and so that was kind of my way in.
Yeah, I remember kind of telling everybody about that Don's cassette, and that's probably why I put it on a CD, just so I would have a copy. But I remember I made a lot of those, and then I made a lot for you, and then every time I'd see you, I'd make some more, and we changed it a little. And I never would have thought that the Not Lame thing would happen. That really that blew my mind, man, which is cool because they were like the label to be on in our scene if you could do it. And there was hardly anyone from LA that was even on that label.
I was lucky because, Ken West was our rhythm guitar player. he joined later, about a year or two after we formed, and really I was in denial. I needed a rhythm guitar player. Really needed
I wanted to do it too, but I was too busy.
Yeah. And so, the thing, so Ken had his own band, and so Receiver, so he was in Receiver and borrowing musicians from other bands as well, Carrie and Lisa Michael and
Will O'Brien.
Will was initially, the lead guitarist. And then, because Receiver got on Not Lame recordings, Bruce came, saw the Dons at IPO or something. And we kind of pushed him, hey, maybe you want to put our CD out too. And it had already been recorded because I think, and then, and he did. It was a limited release, but we got on Not Lame recording. So I am officially a recording artist.
I think it was about the last big record he pushed out. I want to say, I think he kind of stopped doing it after that. It was the last one I remember.
Yeah. I don't know if he lasted much longer after that. It was tough going,
Yeah. But it was cool. We were all super proud of you, actually. I was kind of like, oh man, because I would have been pretty stoked to be on Not Lame, honestly. So it was like,
well, you got on Smile.
That's right.
Like soon after we got on our thing, and then Tony didn't sign our band, so the whole thing. I was jealous of you guys because you got that thing. You had a bigger draw than us. You made you guys were kicking ass.
Well,
I think we kind of rode your coattails more.
I don't
playing
remember
gigs with you guys. It was always great. Oh, great, they're playing. Okay, there's going to be a crowd. So.
Nobody told us at the time, so thank you.
Well, it blows me away that you say that you hadn't been a lead singer before that. I mean, you have great vocals.
Oh, thank you.
You from the beginning, you're a lead singer. You're awesome.
And a very tasty guitarist.
Yeah, and a tasty guitarist too. So
thanks. I always think of myself as a guitarist first, but I realize I realize it, and I need to work on my singing and take care of my voice. Actually warm up. Do you guys warm up before shows?
What's that?
You're supposed to warm up your voice.
Oh,
just little things like that. And it's in the beginning. My drummer Doug played so loud and there were never good monitors at clubs, so I would listen to recordings and I always sound like I'm shouting just to get up over the drums. So I had to learn to sing without, you don't have you can't just sing at the loudest part of your voice. You can't just shout, Right. So I had to kind of learn how to just, if you can't hear yourself, you can't hear yourself. And maybe you can put an earplug or do this, put a finger in your ear, something like that. But I had to learn to change my singing style. And then I got to give Steve credit. He produced our album, and he would work with me and say, okay, try to make the high notes when you're singing up high, try to make it sound like you sound when you're singing just in a regular part of your range. And so I'd work on that, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to hear what you guys
Oh yeah. Have you not heard the song yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh gosh. Well, here you go. It'll probably sound real familiar.
Till we
to the test. Always complaining, guess that's as good as it gets. Till we meet again, till we meet again, till we meet again.
All right.
Wow, just amazing. I'm all goosebumply.
Me too, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the bridge of that song. Oh, God.
I like the bridge, too. I think that might be the best part of the song.
It's so good. And I really like the way it just goes, it just pumps brutally.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man, that was so much fun to do. Really good.
I'm getting kind of choked up. I have to tell you guys. So I'm sure you heard our bass player, Jesse, passed away last year.
Yes.
And just like 2 weeks after we played IPO, at the Redwood Barn Grill, and he died like 2 weeks later. And and that's, I don't know, just that's like one of those songs that I just feel like I need him. Like I need him standing beside me, because he's like my brother. And we did so much together. And, because we were in the Dons, and it wouldn't have been the Dons without him, And we were in a blues band together and had all these crazy adventures, And so, I sang the song at his memorial. And John Borak was there too, And they, anyways, that's it. I just, it reminds me of singing the song for him that last time. And,
It's sweet.
I'd like to believe in a hereafter. I don't know that I really do. I'm purposely agnostic about it. Because I don't want to say like I'll never see him again. I hope till I meet him again, till we could meet again somehow. But you just really, all you know for sure is you have your memories, and you have to be satisfied with that.
Well, he's there in the tracks too.
He's there, yeah. He'll always be there. As
That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And there's a hell of a lot of videos too. Trust me, I've seen a couple. I've got a couple things laying around. But
But he was great. He was so great, so talented, And that was him, on that high. The only Susan could do. Only Susan. It's great that you guys are able to hit those high harmonies, and that was Jesse's note, that crazy high D note, and you put in a lead guitar solo.
Yeah, you know why? It wasn't because we wanted a solo. It's because that bridge is so good. I wanted more. Seriously, I wanted more of those changes, and so I'm like, well, I'll just play it twice and put guitar there. And that solo is kind of cool. I was wondering while I'm sitting here listening to it, going, did I play that, or did somebody? Because I can't remember. I had our buddy Anthony play on something on this. I don't know. I don't think it was that song. I think that must be me, right? I can't remember now.
Anthony played on
the Clevenger tune.
And he played on Kenny's tune. Oh,
yeah, he definitely did that. Yeah, so that must have been me.
Yeah, it was. But that, Mike always would get like he wants things always done now at this moment, whatever he's working on. And for me, the music's a little bit more spiritual, and I really want to be in the mood when I come over to do this. And this was one of those songs when I was ready to play it. I came over, one take, and you can tell when I'm having fun because I'm dancing. I have a little dance that Susan makes fun of and stuff, but it was awesome. And my mind kept going to this spot where when I first started teaching, I was a librarian at Fountain Valley High School. And I did I had all 3,000 kids in the school had to come to see me because I did this orientation. And at the beginning of the orientation, I had the Oranges playing. And at the end, I had your song playing, till we meet again. And every time I would put your song on, I got chills as all these young high school kids are starting to walk out the door. They're walking out to this great, great song. And I cranked it up super loud, which was such a opposite of what a librarian should do. But it was just rocking Fountain Valley High School with Till We Meet Again.
Wow. Thanks for telling me that. That's amazing.
And you should be rich off of that song, because I don't know why Hollywood hasn't picked up. I mean, there's any movie that has a graduation or anything like that, that should be in that movie, with that, great line.
Oh, thank you. A guy from Australia covered that song too, Michael Carpenter.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that.
So you guys aren't the only one to cover that song.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I really like all the stuff on that album, and it was kind of fun, like getting that demo, and I thought all the songs were really great. And then every time I saw you, there was like a couple more. And then it was also really cool. One of the times that you did bring more songs was you came to the studio to do Don's track for the Sparkle Jets tribute album that we made, because you're actually on that one.
Right.
A couple times.
Yeah.
I think you also did a track with Tammy, but I think that one was done. You guys did that yourselves. But for the Dons, you brought the band into my studio and tracked with me, which was fun because Doug was God, man, that guy could play. That was my goal on doing this cover too, is to try to get as close as I could to having a good drum sound, because that was a crucial part of that song. And the bass too. I still don't think it's loud enough. I still couldn't. I wanted that song to be like brutally in your face. It's still. I still think yours kind of kills it. It's not an easy task. But you guys did "She's My Fave," which was the lead-off track to our first album. So you kind of picked a plum there out of that batch, and then you did a cool thing to it, which we'll listen to.
Yeah, we changed the groove.
She's
That was the Dons doing "She's My Fave," which was pretty fun. I was really excited. I remember when you guys rolled that out, I was like, "Uh-oh!" But it was really cool. It turned out great. We had a fun day. I remember that day pretty well.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's great. It's fun doing covers of like your friend's band. You know, there's nothing quite like it. You know, as opposed to something off the like a something off top 40 or something. You know, and
well, at least you guys went and changed the song a little bit. Our version of your song is almost exactly the same.
It's pretty close. Well, I remember talking to Robbie Rist about, when he covers, his suggestion is when you cover someone's song, you should just completely wreck it.
Of course, he said that.
And just have no respect at all for the original and just make your own thing, And I don't know if we did that, but, I don't think we wrecked it. But we did take it in a different direction. Actually, that's a mark of a well-written song, that you can do a completely different version of the song and it still sounds great, or like a Dylan song. You can change, you can do a Dylan song 100 different ways, and it's got great lyrics, got great melody and everything, and so you can do what you want with it and not break it.
My problem with covers is a lot of the time, depending on what the song is, there's usually something about it that I really like, the thing that really makes me want to do it. Mm-hmm. And usually in order to scratch that itch, I have to, it's probably the whole thing as it is that I really love, or at least maybe the arrangement or the way it's done. So if we deviate from the script a lot, it's usually for some other reason. But I don't know if any of you guys all have a comment on that or not. Well, I feel bad for the rest of my band, because if I do something, I'm probably just going to start the whole thing, and they don't really, they weren't really in the room to say, let's do it different, Mike.
It's kind of already too late. Yeah. By that.
Well, you always like to break things apart, Mike. I mean, as far as whenever you get a new camera or whatever, you like to master it exactly, that skill. And so it's the same thing with the song. You pull all the pieces out. You want to see what makes the song work, and then you want to recreate it.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the fun for me. And like, oh, okay, can I get that? I don't know. I don't think about it.
There's definitely a rush to getting stuff right. Like when you learn a guitar solo perfect, or even just a riff, and you just like you just nail it. Like I played in a Beatle tribute band. I'm still playing in a Beatle tribute band.
I know. I think I've
been playing for I started around 2000. I actually around the time I stopped doing my original band stuff, I got into a Beatle tribute band, and everything had to be perfect, like note perfect. And so, and there's a certain pride to that. That's just one way of making music that's a little different, where you can just play your own guitar solos and do it, do your own creativity. But there is definitely a charge or something, to playing the songs that you love, just like, just perfectly. And people appreciate it too, I think.
Yeah. I remember seeing you playing at IPO about 4 or 5 years ago. It was one of the first times that when you'd kind of brought it all back, and you'd been doing the Beatle band for so long that all of a sudden your hair was short and you were doing the Lennon guitar pose. And I don't think you even realized it, but you do that now a lot. Like that's kind of your go-to pose. I catch it all the time. You'll be standing there doing the Lennon thing with the knees and the slight,
Yeah, because I don't know what to do with myself when I'm on stage. So at least I that's my fallback, is because like I said, I never felt comfortable as a front man, and so yeah, that's comfortable now. It's a comfortable thing to do. So that's
awesome. Well, I don't know. We did a Beatles cover show once for a party, and I don't think we probably asked you, and you were actually doing a bigger paid gig. So we ended up playing with Stu from Chewy Marble. Mm-hmm. Because he was a George. He might have been the George in the band you were in. Is that? He
was, yeah.
That's the connection. I knew there was a connection to you and that.
Yeah, that was my way out. That was my way in, was through Stu. Stu was in a band that was looking for a Paul, and so I went and saw them rehearse, and I thought, well, I could do the John part, the Paul part seemed a little tougher, vocally anyway. And so I became the John. So I became the John Lennon in the Beatle tribute band world, and I got in through Stu. And we played a ton. I thought, well, I'll probably do it for a couple of years or so. And I'm still doing it. I have a show on March 26th, down in, and I'm driving down to San Diego to do it. But I didn't think I'd still be doing it. I thought, at some point, you retire from that, right? But I guess you don't have to,
What's the name of the Beatle tribute album? The Beatle tribute band?
I'm not sure. It might be the Backbeats. It was a fill-in job. It's a fill-in job, and I know the guys I'm playing with, but I'm not sure what name it's going to be under. But my guess would be the Backbeats. There's one called Abbey Road that I might be playing with again, and that's the one the band I had with Stu is called Magical Mystery Tour. This one coming up is called the Backbeats. And I play every couple of months or so. That's
great. The Abbey Road band plays up in our neck of the woods.
Yeah. And I just I was going to fill in for them. I guess they found someone else, or I'm not sure what happened, but I still get calls for fill-in gigs all the time, which is pretty amazing.
Well, that sounds like awesome. I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm not, I may be careful when I do cover tunes and trying to copy them or whatever, but one thing I just do not have the patience for is learning how to play songs exactly right enough to do Beatles cover bands. I wish I could.
I think you could if you wanted to. It's more that you don't want to.
It's too much. It's a lot of work. I usually don't do all the leads, the solos and stuff exactly right. That's usually where I draw the line. I'll sing it well. I'm really into trying to get the vocals right, but I'm not.
You did a pretty amazing job on Helter Skelter.
Oh gosh, that's the one that Pop Dude's track. That was the first one we did, and it's been kind of buried because I think John hates it. We've done a million other Beatles or McCartney ones since then too, which is the funny part. But well, thanks you for that. That was cool.
And you did some others that were. You do amazing covers. You've got a versatile singing voice. I guess you can sound like anyone you want to.
That's probably going to add to the problem on the Best of Friends because I'm pretty sure that I'm aping the style of whoever I'm singing. I know. We were just talking to Morley today, and I didn't have a chance to tell him, but it's I thought I did a pretty good impression of him on that song. Hard time when the right turn, something. Yeah. It's I can't help but go there.
No, it's part of the song. So I do that too. If I sing a Neil Diamond song, I'm going to sound like Neil Diamond, or a little bit, at least. And then, or Creedence, you got to sing,
Big country to the lead.
Yeah.
Keep on toining. Yeah.
And Big Wheel keep on boining, But those little things make a difference. On Satisfactions, I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no. You got to sing it the right way. You got to pronounce it.
I'd never sang the Stones until the other night, and I was real easy to. At least in my head, it sounded like the Stones when I sang it. What did you guys think? No, thanks for that. Anyway, yeah. I wish I would have seen you doing the Creedence band because you look freaking just like John Fogerty. So no offense if that's bad, but
no, it's not bad.
Look at him. Look at this guy.
It's a little it's unnerving. I see myself, I go, that's not me. That's
Well, yeah,
Paul doesn't have 3 pickups.
Well, you had really, really long hair back in the day. It was long, man. It was, and I had long hair for a minute right around Bamboo Lounge. I think I saw a picture of myself yesterday.
Pretty long. It
got pretty long for a minute there, and not since I'm comfortable saying that was as long as it ever did get. I think, but you had So, but now that you've got the shorter hair, you can easily do the Lennon or the Fogerty.
Yeah, but I'm growing it out again. So it's
but see, all those guys did too. So it makes sense. How long are you gonna go?
I have no idea.
Down to my ass.
She's staying after every night. She
Oh my. It's not even my favorite song about Monica Lewinsky, but still. That award goes to Super Furry Animals. No offense.
None taken.
If you remember the song Presidential Suite, it's one. It just happens to be one of my all-time favorites. Same topic. But that's crazy. What made you write that, dude?
Oh, I just thought it was there was something about the whole Clinton Monica Lewinsky thing that it was just weird. This whole kind of the fact that she became a celebrity and didn't seem to really know what she had gotten herself into. I don't think she
No.
she didn't seem to be the beneficiary of the scandal. I think she took a lot of shame, and now kind of all these years later, I kind of look like, I thought, well, she was the bad guy in this. Now I look at it and now Clinton was the bad guy in all that. And she was thrown under the bus and slut shamed and all the rest of that, which I disagree with. And so I look at this. I look at the story differently now, And
well, that's good. I'm glad you got to talk about that. Actually, I wasn't even really thinking about it in a super bad way, but I'm really glad you got to talk
in a political way. Yeah, just the I think she was a kid. I mean, she was early 20s or something when that happened, and he's the fucking president. In this position of authority, it's like and so I'm glad. I've kind of. As you get older, you see things differently.
Well, it sets the ultimate example of like how that can happen and why it shouldn't, and everybody knows the ins and outs of that. No pun intended. So yeah, it's now turned into a good example of what not to do.
Right.
So, all right, man. Well, dude, this has been really fun, and we've enjoyed talking to you. And I'm glad I've got to see you recently a few times, and hopefully we'll keep running into you. And hopefully people will listen to this thing and start discovering this music again. Are you out there on the streaming services and all that stuff?
Yes.
Have you got any? Have you basically? I haven't asked you this. Have you done any writing or original music that's out there coming or that I don't know about?
Not really. I mean, every couple of years, I'll write a couple more songs, and then if I play IPO or somewhere, I'll throw them in the set. So I've got maybe like a half an album's worth of songs that are written, and then nothing definite, but I've been meaning to do it. So
Awesome.
I think maybe I even talked to you about it. Maybe doing something on Rex's label. Maybe in the next couple of years or so.
Cool.
And,
well, if your album was done right now, it would probably take 2 years to get through the roster.
That's what I understand.
They are very, very popular right now.
Yeah. But I'm glad that in this pre-COVID era that we can actually get out and see bands again, which is pretty amazing. I think a lot of us want to get out and, because there's no replacement for it. You can't get the same experience through a Zoom meetup or, So when you asked me about streaming services, I thought you meant like, do I listen to stuff on Spotify and so forth like that? But it's funny. If you want to listen to my album, it's all on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's all just there for free, beyond my control. Like I can't do anything about it.
Can't stop it. Yeah.
What's it listed under?
I was searching right now, and
I was doing the same thing. And the Dons that comes up is looks like a,
Oh yeah, if you search Dawn of the Dons, you can usually find us.
I think you're right because I remember playing it on here.
People told me, like work associates, have said, "Oh, I found your album on Spotify."
I did that once. I remember typing in the title, and that's how I found it. But I'm doing it right now, and nothing's coming up.
There's like 17 other bands that were called the Dons.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's not working at all. Maybe Spotify's just having a moment right now. I don't know. Weird. But we'll definitely check it out. If you've never heard the Dons, well, you've heard them now. So go check it out, man. You listener. All right. Well, thanks, Don. We will hopefully see you again soon. And we'll let you know how this when this is happening, so you can listen to it or whatever. Yeah.
No, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the thing in its entirety.
Well, I think I sent it to you, so you can if you want. There's a link somewhere.
Oh, great! Thanks.
Yeah, right on.
Good.
All right. If you can't find it, ask again. All right. I'll see you, man.
All right, take care. Bye.
Later.
Bye, Susan. Bye, James.
Bye.
Put your finger on it, plug in the hole in the dam. Built my life around it, oh well it's good for a laugh. Till we meet again, till we meet again, till we meet again. Beat up, been aching, guess you've been put to the test. Always complaining, guess that's as good as it gets. Till we meet again, till we meet again, till we meet again. Can't stop the rain coming down in endless buckets. Can't stand the pain, makes you stronger than the rest. Are you going mad? You can't tear yourself a ticket. Till we meet again, till we meet again, till we meet again. Beat up and aching, guess you've been put to the test. Always complaining, guess that's as good as it gets. Till we meet again,